Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. As always, life could be a little bit miserable, life could be a bit dark, so we're here to bring you some light and bring you a bit of joy. I'm Bradley, once again joined by the newly home Stu. How you doing, Stu?
Yeah, good to be off the streets, out of the cardboard boxes. Moved into my new house, fantastic, which is why I'm on this tiny little headset that's the crappy sound. But dulcet tones. But yeah, absolutely fantastic, very happy.
Yeah, it's not our fault the podcast shit this week.
No.
I don't know about all the other weeks, but yeah, this week it's technical.
Or you can take no blame for any of it.
No, not at all.
I blame my parents for my poor genetics and being a bit of an idiot. But yeah, no, we're okay.
Fair enough. So you're no longer in the streets?
No.
Oh, that's a shame. I liked your music.
I knew you were going to go there. I knew it.
As soon as I made a clarification of saying in the streets rather than on the streets.
Yeah.
I wonder where Brad might be going with this.
Well, you're fit, but my gosh, don't you know it?
I'm hot, man.
Yeah.
I am hot.
Totally.
Talking of hot, do you know what else is hot?
What's hot?
Stolen video games.
True. Have you stolen many recently?
Not recently, no.
No, me neither.
Did I ever tell you about the time I stole 2 Xbox games out of Tesco's accidentally but on purpose?
No, I don't think you did.
So, there was at the end of in one of the trolleys I got, I went in. It was a good number of years ago. They had Grand Theft Auto 5 and I want to say Battlefield 4, possibly.
Yeah.
Not in their security cases, just left in a trolley. So I took the trolley, done my shopping, and didn't pay for the games because they was already in the trolley. I just thought they was empty cases, and I needed empty cases for just to fill out my shelf a little bit because I had a couple of cracked ones. So I thought, you know what, I'll take those. I think just display cases. Got out, put them in, and both proper full games with discs and everything.
And of course, you took them straight back to the store and explained your mistake, didn't you?
It's corporation, isn't it?
Yeah, too right.
You know, I'm taking from one corporation to that. I mean, it could technically be all my fault that Tesco's have decided to go, do you know what? Sod it. We're going to go for profits over making sure people can afford to eat. It could all be that one incident where I accidentally found a couple of games that I thought were just empty cases and stole them. Yeah. And now everyone lives in poverty and can't afford food, and it's all my fault.
Yep, you were Typhoid Mary of that situation. The Typhoid Bradley, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Full-on butterfly effect that one time.
Yep.
I'm going to go back and end up in a wheelchair or something. That's all I got from that film. He tried to fix his life and ended up in a wheelchair as a paraplegic.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how it ended, though, because then he walked. But he kind of pushed Amy Smart and went, I don't like you anymore, and they never met. And something, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's a bad film.
Bad film. Any other films you want to relate the plot of while we're here?
Probably what relate the plot of badly. You mean?
Well, I didn't want to say.
I mean, I could try going to Spider-Verse stuff, but we'll be here. That's just be the whole podcast.
Oh, don't, because I'll have to go and watch it again if you start talking about that again.
I really want. I'm going to watch all 3 back to back when they're all available.
Oh,
over
nice.
and over and over and over and over.
Nice.
They're Back to the Future-esque as well. They're going to be ones that if they're just on telly one day, you'll switch over and go, it's 2/3 of the way through. I'll just watch the last third. I don't mind.
Yeah, it will be.
Because it's like Back to the Future. I don't care at what point you put on Back to the Future, apart from number 2, because you're like, I like Back to the Future. He's gone back to the 50s again.
Yeah.
We've missed a good bit.
I'm not a big fan of Back to the Future 2 either, to be honest.
I love Back to the Future 2 as a whole, but it's like, looking back at it now, it's just going, but it's the future stuff I like.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to go back to it. We've been to the 50s.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'll have to watch those now. Anyway, yes, video games.
Games. This was. We actually segued into video games and somehow ended up on films. There you go.
We did.
What have I been playing, Stu? That's just to make sure it is saving.
So yes, what have you been playing, Bradley?
I've been playing some RPG-esque games this last week or so. Starting with What's like 2D HD, but lacking a little bit of the HD? What would you call that? It's not quite standard definition, but it's not quite HD, but it's definitely aping that 2D HD style.
Yeah, they gave it a name. You mean like triangle strategy, that kind of thing?
But it's not even that, because that's got that 2D HD thing. It just looks like fuzzy. Like, it's gone for...
Yeah.
They've seen the 2D HD stuff. Right? I haven't even got to the game yet, but this is what this game is, and it's kind of gone, we've got to do the HD-ness to it.
Right.
It's really weird. But anyway, I've been playing Alterium Shift.
Okay.
And I was going to make an ulterior motive joke, but I can't think of one. Basically, your old JRPGs. See, I don't like to say JRPGs because it's like Steph Sturdy talked about how that's not the right, shouldn't be the right term. I'm playing RPG, like want to get into some RPGs, and this is what this is. It's an RPG adventure, 2.5D fantasy thing. That if you've played any of the 16-bit Final Fantasies, I can't think of some of the others because my mind's gone blank on what they're actually called. But you know all the 16-bit RPGs, if you're a fan of them. If you've played any of those, this is pretty much that. You kind of wander around, do a bit of turn-based stuff, have some battles, some kind of convoluted story is going on of some description. You get big bad monsters, loads of different characters. I think your main character is called... It's not very memorable. The game is called Pyra. And does some fiery stuff from a spear. The original naming and all that. And like there's a magician or someone who's really good with like magic spells and stuff called Sage. They really thought about these names. Yeah. And you go around this giant map. You've got story unfolds, turn-based battles, and you can do like each character gets some like stuff they can do on the map, which is meant to be, I suppose, their hook, so to speak. That it's not just another RPG. So you can do like as you go around the map, you kind of almost use Pokemon style abilities to get through leaves and rocks and stuff like that. It's basically what 16-bit RPGs have we played, and can we fit it into our game? And then you've got Alterium Shift, and it's alright. It's about as much as I can muster up for it. It's fine, but everything it tries to be, I've played better. So triangle strategy, it's better. Pokemon, it's better. I want to say Grandia, is that one of them? I think I played that once. It's better. Final Fantasy, it's better. It's fine, but every game it apes on has done it better in their own way. And if you're big into it, then I don't get what you'd get from this. If you're big into those games, I don't get what you get from this. And if you've never played an RPG before, it's still that bit too convoluted that I wouldn't even go, it's my first RPG. So it's not even a great onboarding one. So I don't know what market it's going for. And I said, the visuals, it looks like it's going for that Octopath Traveler style look to it. But they forgot to just do any HD-ness to it. And it just doesn't quite look right. So it's got this 16-bit aesthetic, but going for this 2.5D, 2D HD thing that just doesn't all marry together. And it's really weird. But it's not a bad game. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. It just doesn't do enough to make me go, oh, I really want to play more of this. I'm like 6 hours in, giving it a go for the podcast, and I'm like, I'm done now.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's one of those that, like, if you get like one of our coffee cup games or whatever we call, well, we really should write it down. But if we get one
cup
of them,
coffee game,
cup of coffee game. That's it. If we get one of them and like it's okay, then you kind of like, oh yeah, fine. But with an RPG, which is like probably 30-40 hours investment a time. It's
to be fair, it's only 16 quid, so it's the price wise, it's not too bad.
But it's the time. Totally. But I get you.
It's your time,
though. Yeah, time investment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been turned into a bit of a stone cold coffee with mouldy milk.
Nasty. Yeah,
They can put that on the box if they want.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll love to do that.
But yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not anything. But I don't want to say like I'm insulting it either, because sometimes you say the worst thing you can say about a game is that you've got not much to say about it.
Completely, yeah.
But it's obviously they put care and they care about this game, and there's inspiration, all over the shop. But it's just why, there's bits I can do like I do in Pokemon. Well, play Pokemon because Pokemon does these bits better. The turn-based battles, I'm sorry, I've had more fun in like the older Final Fantasy games and like the newer Octopath games, and they're often on sale for like 25 quid, and it's like I could get those for a little bit more and I'm going to get more game out of it. I could probably buy games around that same sort of price that would bridge that gap. But yeah, I don't want to see the end. And it's like, it's not often. I've played games before where I go, I think I'm done with it. I would like to see the end, but I think I'm done with it. So I might watch a YouTube video to catch the rest of the story or something on some of these games. This one, I don't think I could even care less. It's got branching storylines, and I'm like, I don't really care.
Exactly. That's when you start thinking about that time investment, and you're like, oh, sod that, no chance.
Yeah. And then I went back to playing other stuff that I've been playing, which I'll touch on very briefly at the end of before we move on to like some mental health chat of the podcast. Of other stuff I've really been playing, and I could rather do that. It's just it's fine, but there's no way I can recommend it to anyone.
No.
Not even, let's say, I could go to someone, if you've never played an RPG, give this one a go.
Yeah.
Or if you've played them all, give this one a go. It just doesn't do anything, and that's a shame. It's not even got a memorable name as well.
It's a bit nothing, isn't it?
I mean, I say that I couldn't remember the name of Grandia and some other 16-bit RPG, so don't take the memorable name stuff from me. I struggle to remember the name of some of the all-time classics, so take that as you will. But yes.
Chrono Trigger, that's a good one. It's a great name.
That's a good one, yeah.
Cracking name.
See, yeah, there are loads of good ones out there. In fact, I might go, but I can't remember the last Chrono Trigger I've played. Didn't one of them recently get a bit of a remake?
Yeah, I think so.
Or re-release. I might give that a go.
Yeah, go for it.
But what did get me on with this as well, found out that the Panzer Dragoon remake got released on Steam, and you could get it for £1.74, so I picked that up.
Well, that's pretty good. There were some problems with controls with that one, but they might have ironed them out now.
Apparently it's fine now. All the recent reviews are positive, so...
Cool.
For £1.74, I don't care.
No. Too right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what was it? Yeah, Panzer Dragoon's really good, but that was Alterium Shift.
Yep.
What have you been playing, Stu?
Yeah, no, well, like we've said before, you've got to be fair, and saying when something's not great is also fair. So that's cool. But yes, I have not been playing
doing it.
No, I don't either. Especially with a smaller company. Yeah. But I've obviously not been playing a great deal as I've been moving house and getting up at like 5:30 in the morning, shifting boxes around for a week. But I managed to fit in like one game because I wanted to test out my new broadband, which is really, really, really fast and cheaper than the stuff we were paying for before, because BT doing their horrendous practice of putting the prices up all the time. And I did. So I downloaded...
who have you gone with, by the way?
Who have I gone with? TalkTalk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Theoretically 900 megabits per second. The fastest download I've had at the moment is 50 megabytes per second, which is pretty damn fast.
That's about 500 in it, ish.
Well, it's multiplied by 8. So it's,
I do 10 because it's easier, all right?
All right, fair play.
Let's go, that'll do. Close enough.
Yeah.
You're getting to the point where those sort of speeds, it's close enough.
Yeah, totally. So I have no complaints. And what I did was downloaded a 40 gig game in about 12 minutes, I think it was. And that game is Deus Ex Mankind Divided or whatever.
I saw you playing that.
Ah, yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, it came up on notification, not stalking.
Wow. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've been playing that. And yeah, it works pretty well on deck. And it's one of those games that's really badly optimized for PC. Really badly optimized. This is like notorious for being a resource hog, even though it doesn't actually look amazing. It looks nice, it looks pleasant enough for however old it is. What is it, about 8 years or more?
I reckon 10 to 12 years now.
Is it even that long? Jeez, man. How it goes. Jeez.
I'm just going to have a quick look.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can't spell Deus Ex.
But anyway, so yeah, it looks nice enough, but it's still a resource hog to this day, which means it's badly coded, unfortunately. Very CPU bound, all that caper. I thought of a good analogy for things that don't use multiple cores and threads on CPUs, and that was like, it's like buying a horse, and you develop your game so that it's like, oh, you need to have a really fast horse to ride. And it's like, well, actually, I haven't got a fast horse, but I've got a team of slow horses, and they can go way faster. And they're like, no, we haven't got the harness for a load of horses. You just have to use one horse. And that's what limiting your CPUs is like, or something, I don't know. I'm very tired, Bradley. Very tired. But anyway.
You lost me, because I'm now trying to remember. Did you say Mankind Divided or Human Revolution?
Mankind Divided.
That's 2016. Sorry, I was getting confused with Human Revolution, which was 2013.
Yeah, I'm never sure which one is the sequel. I'm definitely
Mankind Divided's the one where they added in microtransactions, weren't it? When after the fact, and made Steph Sterling really angry.
That's correct.
Yes.
But so what's that? 8 years? Yeah. So yeah, it looks 8 years old, but it performs as if it's bloody Cyberpunk because it takes up that many resources. Anyway, but I got it running decently enough on the deck. 40 frame second frame lock, so I can't talk very well. And it works very well when you limit it to that, and looks pretty enough. And so far it's all right. It's more of the same. I've not really unlocked any of the better stuff to get on with. The stealth has been a bit kind of weird because it's got some really nice bits, and then like you come into a room that's full of enemies, and it's almost as if it's like, I'm trying to pathfind so that I can take them all out stealthily, but I cannot find a way to do it. And I think that's partly because I haven't got the augments to do it properly. But it's a little bit frustrating because it's like, if you give a stealth option, you should design things around so that you can do it,
Yeah.
And I'll compare it to not the Phantom Pain, but what was it called? The shorter version, the short one that came out before it.
Ground Zeroes?
Ground Zeroes, well done.
I remember something.
Yeah. Ground Zeroes is one of those where it's just so tightly designed. It's so excellent. Just this one compound, but there are loads of great kind of things that you can use, loads of variety, and just really well designed. And it doesn't really have that. And it's not because of the design of the levels. It's more to do with the number of enemies they chuck in and the speed of the enemies and things like that. But I'm not going to complain too much because, as I say, I'm not like all powered up or anything. But in terms of how it plays, it's fine. I think it was probably a bit overrated when it came out. I think it's no classic, and so far, because it's, as I say, it's more of the same. It's kind of very much like an FPS with a lot of Metal Gear bolted onto it. So it's all right, but it's no Dishonored, which came out way before it, and it's okay. It's a 6 out of 10 game, basically.
So I'm looking at the moment. Also, do these count as retro yet? We're getting close, aren't we, where these games count as retro?
Yeah. I mean, things have got a bit weird. I always used to say anything over 10 years was retro, but generations last so long now.
We was on like PlayStation.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, what?
I'll tell you what I will say. It's design language and the sort of tropes feel old. They feel old fashioned, even though it's only in inverted commas 8 years. That they do feel old to me.
Yeah. So what I was getting at anyway with this, the thingy version, the digital deluxe version, you could get for like £5.70 from Instant Gaming.
Yeah.
Is it worth £6 of your money?
Oh, so far I'd say hold off. I'm going to carry on with it. I'm interested enough in it to carry on. But I don't know. Because they're quite big as well. They're not like a 10-hour game. They're like 20, 25 hours.
Yeah.
So, yeah, give me another week and I'll tell you whether it's worth it.
Yeah, I'd like him on whether you can escape the microtransaction bullshit in it at this point.
I think you can. I think it's all kind of... Yeah, I think it's all kind of...
But yeah, I'd be interested. Let me know your thoughts in a week or so. Because I'm intrigued. So I've got the other ones on Steam. I've got like the original Deus Ex. Or Deus Ex when I was a bit younger. You'd go, it's Deus Ex. I'm a child, Stu. I'm a child.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed Human Revolution when that first came out. I think that's because it was fresh and new at the time. But I never played Mankind Divided. I don't think I've owned that on any system. So I'm tempted. I'll see sort of like what you think about it down the line, because you'll play more than I probably would. But if I can get a couple of hours enjoyment out of it, then I don't mind paying like a £5 or £6 for it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah, be interested to see what you think of that.
Okie dokie.
So next up from me, do you know Skyrim, Stu?
I do.
What if Skyrim but remade again by someone else?
I don't know.
I don't know. Yes. So I've been playing Testament: The Order of the High Human, which you start it and you go, it's a bit Skyrim-y, and then you play it a bit and you're like, a bit more Skyrim-y. You play it a bit more, you go, it's very Skyrim-y, isn't it? And yeah, basically it's a like you're this like post-apocalyptic fantasy world, and to be honest, like as a starting point, it's like really, really interesting. You're getting chased by this like really sort of big, I want to say demonic. It's not really demonic. It's like big fantasy, glowing, evil giant thing chasing you down. You're like, oh, got to run away, but use my powers, and then lose your powers, and you get a sword and bows and stuff like that, with which to fight. And but you could do like wall running and stuff. So it's like Skyrim, but with wall running in it. So you didn't know you always needed that in your Skyrim.
No.
And it's a bit Metroidvania-y in some places as well. There's like really like dark fantasy areas. There's some like futuristic areas in it as well. Weird. It's like there's it like. When you see it, you get it described, you're like, there's no cohesion to this whatsoever. Like, you look at trailers, mate, you go, this what? How's this all fit together? There's like this Hogwarts-style stair-changing lobby area theme from like, where, you know, like all like in the Hogwarts, like the Hogwarts films, the Harry Potter films, where the stairs all change direction and stuff based on things or whatever. Probably to keep the transgender kids out or something.
Probably.
But yeah, it's kind of got a level like that in there. Then you go to like, part of it looked like it's been lifted from Titanfall, which is really weird to say, but it's mostly Skyrim-esque. And it's weird. It's a weird action style game. Like I say, it's very Skyrim, very fantasy, but it's futuristic in places. It's a bit Metroidvania in places. It's RPG leveling up to it, because of course there's RPG leveling up to it, because that's in everything. And yeah, it's weird. I don't know what I think of it. I've been playing it on and off, and I can't. It makes me feel a little bit sick at times. I don't know if there's a weird head bobble to it or not, but it just makes me feel a bit nauseous playing it on the Steam Deck. And so I can only play like about an hour at a time of it before I'm like, oh no, I think I need to take a break. And you it's got this like this like the story includes this like faith-based mechanic that's part of the story that links into your powers to a degree. And it's, you know what these dark fantasy stories are like, Stu. They're so convoluted, and unless you're really invested, you're like, what? I mean, I couldn't even tell you what Skyrim was about, or any of the Elder Scrolls games. All I know is you go out into a world and do missions for people, and it's big. That's all I know about those games. Whereas Fallout, I know that's a comment on, the way our society's going, and with the nuclear fallout, and this is what will happen with the world, and the corruption starts again, and everything. I get all that with Fallout. Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, dark fantasy, orcs and stuff, innit? And so it's got to be doing that right, because I don't get the story at all. But the gameplay's fine. It's fine. It's not Skyrim. It tries to differentiate itself from Skyrim in terms of playability by adding a bit more action, like adventure action-y type things in there, and a lot of backtracking, Metroidvania style things, but without it being boring to do. Like, you're not going over to one side of the map and then going, oh good, my next mission that I now get access to takes me all the way over there. It's kind of structured well. But I don't know if I'm enjoying it, or I'm still just at that, it's a bit Skyrim-y phase, or not. So, I mean, I think I stuck about 10 hours in total to it, and I don't feel I'm all much of the way through. So it's got that side all very much. It's ticked those boxes. And it visually looks okay. Runs well on the Steam Deck, considering what it is, and it's fine. It's fine.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the the theme of this week. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's alright.
It'll do.
Even your game was, it's alright, isn't it?
Yeah. Passes the time.
I
mean, mine was really kind of, because I've had a couple of goes at getting into it and never did. And that's partly because it's got this really, really long intro section, which is like an extended kind of tutorial, and it lasts about an hour, and you don't even save. It doesn't even save properly all the way through it, and that's like really crap. But I was like, well, that means it's perfect for the deck, because you can just put it to sleep if you want, and you can pick it up and put it down, and good way to test out my broadband, and it's kind of all of these things together, and I had to consciously
put that on the box art.
Yeah, I know, right?
Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. It's a good way to test out my broadband.
Yeah, high praise indeed. And so it kept me from Shotgun King for a few minutes. So it's doing something, but it's a funny one really. And I don't know. This Testament thing. It looks like the sort of game, because I just had a look at it, that would be great in VR. There's quite a few VR games like this. I think they've just gone, we'll go either orcs, in first person, you're in the world, fantasy world, or we'll go ultra sci-fi and you'll be in that kind of a world, those are the two main genres that you get in
like
VR
Assassin's
games.
Creed without the structure.
Right, yeah. So it's just a bit, it looks all right, but I don't know. It doesn't really, I don't know, but I wasn't much of a Skyrim fan, so yeah.
I've probably played hours and hours and hours of Skyrim, but I don't think I've ever got that far into Skyrim.
Yeah.
I think I've started it on about 5 different platforms, got a couple of hours, maybe up to 10 hours in each time, and then forgot about it, and then seen it get a re-release for the billionth time, and gone, God, let's get started again.
Yeah. Right. So 2 things, because I'm just conscious of time. 2 fun things.
Yeah.
One, watch some speedruns of Skyrim. I'm speaking to the audience as much as yourself. Watch some speedruns, because they're really good. They're really interesting. How they min-max everything and use some glitches and things. It's, get us.
How do you use glitches in a Bethesda game?
There aren't any. It's perfect. Watertight. So watch those, because they're really good if you're into speedruns. The other thing was, on a completely different note, you tasked me with finding out the most recent game that was released that would fit on a floppy disk.
Did I?
Do you remember that? No, you probably don't.
Oh yes, I did. Yes, sorry, yes.
Yeah, you did. I wouldn't have remembered, but I stuck it down on the show notes a week in advance. And I've not done it, but that's not my fault.
Don't tell me Skyrim.
Yeah, it's Skyrim. There's a Atari 8-bit version that you can play. No, I haven't played anything. I haven't found out exactly how big the game is, but it's not my fault. I went to buy it, and there was loads of trouble with their website, and I couldn't buy it. So it was Street Fighter 2 on the Spectrum, but a brand new version, a brand new old version of Street Fighter 2 for the Spectrum. So I'm confident that will come in well under, 720 kilobytes. Or it's like 1.2 or 1.3 on a high density floppy, isn't it? See all this valuable knowledge I've got from retro tech, but it'll definitely fit on that. And that was released, I think, in March for this year.
Very good.
Yeah. So unfortunately, didn't get to play it, but I'm pretty sure that's passed the test.
Well done.
Thank you.
Excellent. Link to that in case anyone wants to try and find it, and the website might work.
Yeah. Might do.
But yeah, as a quick antithesis to all this, like the RPG stuff, what I have been playing and enjoying, I'm not going to detail with it, just very quick to mention them. I've been playing motocross games,
Nice.
MXGP 21 and Monster Energy Supercross 20. No, Motor Energy Supercross something 5. And also I found a speedway game that's actually pretty damn good, and I'll talk more about that next week because I want to give attention to it because I think it's from a single Polish developer because Speedway is massive in Poland.
Right. Yeah.
I'm guessing he's Polish as well by his name, and the fact is the default team and league selections are Polish. So that's just my guess. But yeah, it's a really good Speedway game. But yeah, I've been really enjoying motocross games, and Speedway games and two wheel-based games. On my Steam Deck, so I'll talk more about those next week, but they've been really fun.
Marvellous. Cool.
But before we do wrap up,
Yes.
we've not really spoke much about mental health the last few weeks, because we've all had various, both of us have had various things going on, whether it's like Stu's moving, whether it's stuff that's been going on with me, and, we also think that sometimes just chatting about games is a good way just to escape. So we do that, and we've always said that's part of it. But to come back on to mental health, just want to quickly chat about this week very recent interview with footballer Dele Ali. He done a sit-down interview with former footballer, now TV personality Gary Neville, and spoke about his mental health struggles, his addiction to sleeping pills, the sexual abuse he suffered as a 6-year-old, getting involved with selling drugs at 9 years old, I think it was, smoking at 7 years old, and basically what a harrowing time he's really had, and which led to him becoming addicted to sleeping pills, and it was such an emotional interview. You watch the interview, and Gary Neville is in tears at times when Dele Ali's talking. One bit, which again, this is my ADHD, and I think bit inappropriate, Gary, was when Dele Ali's talking about the time he got molested. And he's struggling to get the words out. And he finally does it and breaks down a little bit. And Gary Neville, without invitation, goes and kind of touches him on the knee. It's kind of like, I get what you're trying to do to comfort him, but if someone talks to you about time maybe they was molested, don't go and touch them without making sure that's okay.
Yeah.
I know what he meant by it, and there's nothing bad, and no one else think that, but I'm looking at that, my ADHD's going, don't do that. He's just told you he's been molested as a child. He might not be comfortable with the touching, Gary. Yeah. But it's a really, really brave interview. And the more manly men, so to speak, and sports personalities that can come out and talk about this stuff, the better. Because for so long, it's been decided that men can hide their mental health struggles, their emotions, and what they need to do to get through it. Whether you look at footballers in the past, and where you've had Tony Adams come out about his addiction to gambling and stuff like that, Paul Merson's addiction to drugs, and with cocaine and things, and you had other footballers like Mark Bosnich was caught with cocaine and everything, and it was an addiction problem. And around the time they did that, there was lots of mocking from the out. I joined in with some of the jokes. Don't get me wrong, I was naive and stuff like that. But there was a mocking culture over. Oh, look at Tony Adams or Paul Merson breaking down about their addiction issues. It's hilarious. Things like that. Whereas now I think we are all starting to take it more seriously. And for someone like Dele Ali, who had the world at his feet as a footballer, he looked like he could be like a massive generational talent for like England and Spurs and things like that. And his career's kind of just fallen apart over the past years. So his addiction to sleeping pills is a massive part of that, and his mental health is a massive part of that. To come out and speak so openly about it is, I hope it doesn't open the floodgates, because I hate to think that people are suffering. But I hope it does. I hope more people can just start to be honest about where they are. If they need, like, if a professional footballer or any professional sports person or anyone in any kind of situation goes, I'm struggling, I need to take a break from this thing I do, that they've got people around them, whether it's employers, friends, family, whatever, could go, that's fine. Because if you're talking about financially being able to do it, someone like a footballer, if they're struggling mentally and have to take a break, they can take the financial hit and can actually use that time to show, look, this is why it's important to take these mental breaks, why it's important to look after yourself, because they haven't got to worry about the money side of it. And I'm hoping that can have a knock-on effect. But Dele Ali, so brave. And I don't use brave very often because I think it's an overused word, especially in football. But what a brave person Dele Ali is to come out like he has.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I was going to say the exact same thing about the term brave. I think it has been kind of overused a little bit, but it's certainly applicable here. I think it's crazy that however many years it is since Justin Fashanu, 30 years, I think, when he came out, that footballers are still not really allowed to talk about their personal lives and personal struggles and things like that. Sports people in general, not, but particularly quote unquote masculine sports like that. They have like toxic masculinity based around them, and I'm not saying that's all that football's comprised of, but there's a lot of it kind of in the background as well. But yeah, so. Just an incredible thing to do, really, and it's when people talk about having a platform to talk about these things, how I envisage that is like building some scaffolding, and like the brave people who do that, you can then use that scaffolding to get up to where you need to be, so you can talk about it, and them kind of planting that flag in the ground. I know I'm mixing my analogies now, but them planting that flag so that you can do it or other people can do it, I think is incredibly selfless and brave. And because he doesn't really get any benefit out of this other than perhaps some mental health relief of being able to talk about it finally. But really, it's giving to other people. It's as much about giving to other people as it is about giving to yourself, really.
Yeah, I'm totally agree with you, and that makes loads of sense. And it's it's I hope what it does, it allows more people from all walks of life, especially those who aren't in the public eye, to be able, and I know there was this campaign a couple of years back, like about talk to a mate or something like that, but it was still over masculine about it, and. It was very much, you can't always talk to a mate about your issues. I get what it's trying to do, those sort of campaigns and stuff like that. But I often find it harder to talk to people I know and love and respect and stuff like that about my issues. Because you've then got to look them in the eye at some point. I can't because I'm blind, but you've got to be around them. You've got to go. You kind of go. Are they going to be comfortable with it? You have those fears about you anyway. That's nothing to do with masculinity. It's one of those fears. It's like if I say to Lorraine, like, "Oh, this is how I'm really feeling at the moment," is she going to feel that there's something wrong, or is she going to use that back at me at some point, or feel she can't say stuff to me because of that, etc., etc., etc. So to speak to an acquaintance rather than a mate or a stranger or something like that can sometimes be better, and that's where it's better opening up. There's so many charities out there. I could use this time to promote our Discord and stuff. I'm not going to, right? But you could look at the likes of the Samaritans and stuff like that. There's no shame in using those charities, going to speak to someone, or using a forum, going on the internet and speaking there, where under a false identity, where you've got to get something out. I think we need to use these systems that we've set up now for other things to help us to talk, to communicate more and more about these things and not be ashamed about it, because it becomes that test bed as well. If you can go to some strangers behind a keyboard and go, this last few months I've been really, really struggling, and I won't lie, like last week, I really considered ending my own life, for example. If you could do that to a stranger and you get not a positive reaction, but you get a supportive reaction, from it, that could then open the door more to being able to maybe speak to someone you know and care about that same sort of thing, because you get a slight idea of what might come from it. And I feel the footballers and everything, sports personalities, they don't really get access to the blogs or the forums, because all they might see on there, if they go for their interest, is abuse aimed at them for our shit they've done on a football pitch, or at Wimbledon, or in the athletics, or they've played a character someone don't like, or something like that, and the abuse that comes with that just for being known can be a struggle. So they lose that outlet. So again, it's why I think the bravery of Dele Ali, it could hopefully start to open up some of these channels for other people, whether you're famous, whether you're successful, whether you're living in a council house on benefits. It does not matter. We all suffer with these things, and just use whatever's out there.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Yeah.
But aside from that, I guess, unless there's anything you want to add, I'll shut up now and give you the floor to either add or finish.
Yeah, no, I
That's
just
my
agree.
pillow talk as well.
Dirty bugger. Sure, you made me laugh.
You can either add some more, or you can finish on my chest. Your choice.
Oh no, I was going to say something really mucky then, but I won't. But
inside, no.
Not after what we've just been talking about. So no, nothing more to add. No, I agree with you totally. I suppose the only other thing I'd say is, what's great is if you can get more people talking and normalizing talking about these things, and you take away some of the stigma and you take away the fear, because I think we struggle in society, particularly ours in the UK, with talking about things like death, and we talk about struggle with talking about mental health issues, because we think that it means that somebody's broken, or if we bring up the spectre of an issue, that it will break their brain. And the thing is like, when you go through the grieving process, or you've got a mental health issue, you've already had that breakage, and you're already in the process of living with the pain, or mending the pain, or having somebody help you mend the pain, wherever you are in that kind of process. Talking about it almost never, re-breaks things. It doesn't. It helps through it. And, obviously it has to be at the right time for you. Otherwise it could, be like picking a scab, to use a horrible analogy. But, it has to be the right time for you. But just having that ability to talk about it when you feel ready is really, really important. So that's all. But other than that, yes, hopefully this was of some use, and as Brad alluded to, join us on our Discord if you'd like to chat more about these sorts of things, or anything at all. But like they said, it's very important to have an outlet with people that you might not necessarily know to talk about things. But other than that, catch all our content on the socials, and in the meantime, until next week, stay safe and stay sane.